Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. What I'd love to do today on this magnificent Sydney autumn morning is to go through a book, and the book that I've selected for this episode is entitled Emotional Intimacy, a book that was published on the 19th of October 2012 by an author named Robert Augustus Masters. True intimacy is not just about being physically close to somebody. It's about being seen, understood, and deeply connected on an emotional level. In this book, Emotional Intimacy, Robert Augustus Masters explores the depths of emotional awareness, vulnerability, and healing, where he emphasizes that emotional intimacy is not about avoiding discomfort, but about embracing it with courage, authenticity, and compassion. Masters guides us through the inner work required to cultivate genuine relationships with ourselves and others by confronting our fears, our conditioning, and our emotional blind spots. He challenges the reader to go beyond the surface level interactions and create meaningful bonds in self-awareness, trust, and emotional maturity. This book is indeed a transformational guide for anyone seeking deeper, more meaningful, more fulfilling relationships by developing the capacity to be truly present, vulnerable, and connected. So let's see what we can learn from this book. And the first key takeaway is that true intimacy requires emotional presence. Being emotionally present means fully experiencing and expressing your emotions in the moment without suppression or distraction. True intimacy flourishes when we allow ourselves to be seen as we truly are, to be seen in our raw and nude state. The author touches on vulnerability and says that vulnerability needs to be seen as a strength and not a weakness. And he acknowledges that many people fear vulnerability because they associate it with weakness. However, it's important to note that being vulnerable, being able to openly express fears, desires, and insecurities builds trust and deepens relationships. I found this point very interesting and important as well, that emotional avoidance is an intimacy blocker. When we suppress difficult emotions or avoid deep conversations, what we actually are doing is we are creating a distance in our relationships, facing emotions, even the painful ones, is to foster true connection, according to this author. Because when it's all said and done, it all starts with us. Self-intimacy is the foundation of relationship intimacy. You've got to get to know yourself first before we can form deep connections with others. We must first cultivate a deep understanding and acceptance of ourselves. This in and of itself is a key learning, is a very, very powerful message for those who have ears to hear. Emotional intimacy begins with self-awareness and self-compassion. We need to do the homework. We need to get involved. We need to get beyond our comfort zones. And the author also suggests that healing old wounds can help create a space for love. So we need to do the garden work in our hearts. We need to clean up, fix the things that are unfixed in order to create the necessary space to allow love to come into our lives. Unresolved emotional wounds from childhood or past relationships can sabotage intimacy. Acknowledging and healing these wounds allows us to love and to connect more freely. And we also need to establish healthy boundaries because they strengthen relationships. Emotional intimacy does not mean losing yourself in and to another person. Setting and respecting boundaries ensures that intimacy is built on mutual respect and emotional safety. We look at shame and fear, and it needs to be acknowledged and embraced, not hidden and run away from. Shame and fear, unfortunately, thrive in secrecy. When we courageously express our fears and insecurities, we break their power, we break their hold, and create opportunities for deeper understanding and better connection. The author talks about deep listening, which he says is an act of love. Listening with presence, without interrupting, judging, or mentally preparing a response, allows one to truly understand and validate our partner's emotions. This is the foundation of emotional intimacy. And I guess we can't go through life without having conflict, but the author here suggests that conflict can be a pathway to deeper connection. Disagreements are not threats to intimacy. They are opportunities for growth, development, and deeper connection. Approaching conflicts with curiosity and a willingness to understand creates what the author says, stronger emotional bonds. And the last point to come from this book is that love is a practice, not just a feeling. Sustaining emotional intimacy requires ongoing effort, patience, and a commitment to emotional honesty. Love is not just about how we feel, it's about how we show up for ourselves and others, even when it is absolutely difficult. By embracing emotional intimacy teaches us that the deepest connections are built not through perfection, but through authenticity, courage, and a willingness to be seen and to see others fully.